The only reason everybody thanking me so much is because they were sure I'm going to cancel. Mr. Ambassador, Senator, let me start by congratulating the participants of the economic dialogue that took place today at the Ministry of Finance between the European Commission and the chief economist who's sitting here. It was an opportunity for an in-depth dialogue during which we discuss macroeconomics developments and policy changes in both in Israel and in the EU. I hope that next time we can include a dialogue between businesses to go alongside the governmental level discussions. The Israeli economy is strong and built on healthy fundamentals. The European Union is a key partner and accounts for about a third of Israel's total trade. It goes without saying that we're watching closely developments in Europe. Our economic relations have steadily developed over the years, even in times of political differences. This remains an important message to the business community in Europe and in Israel, but also to those who dismiss the significance of Europe as an Israeli partner. With representatives from, I think, all 28 European Union missions all in one room, it's an opportunity for me to stress again the importance of the collective fight against anti-Semitism, which reared its ugly and violent head during the summer conflict. While Israel was under attack here, Jews were under attack in Europe, and this is intolerable, I'm sure, by all of us. Some of your governments took strong stances against racist attacks on Jewish communities, and for that I thank you. But in other places, Jews were left feeling vulnerable. We saw once more this summer that the line between attacks on Israel and attacks on Jews is often blurred. I know that all your governments reject the campaign that undermines Israel's right to exist, but we must also tackle the language of demonization and hatred that penetrated the debate around Israel. We accept criticism as part of a dialogue between countries. But when Israel is singled out, when the focus on it is disproportionate, and the coverage is biased, it only serves to strengthen extreme voices in the region that thrive on division. I believe that we share a common purpose. We want to see the region develop economically, increase in stability, and crucially, progress towards peace. Israel has a great deal to contribute towards economic development. We are willing and even eager to share our knowledge and expertise with our neighbors. But to truly help this region move forward, I believe there are two things Europe must do, and both involve an economic agenda. The first is a clearer response to those who seek to delegitimize Israel in Europe. The answer to them is more trade, higher levels of mutual investments, and more joint research and development projects. But it also demands a change in tone from top down, clearer and louder opposition to boycotts, support for Israel's rights to defend itself against terrorism, and unequivocal backing for a two-state solution which includes not only a Palestinian nation state, but Israel's right to live in peace and security. The second is for Europe to take more proactive steps. These two combines politics and economics. The road to peace goes through negotiations, serious determined, honest, and face-to-face negotiations. The bilateral track has failed to yield results, and that leaves us with two options. The first is the easier but ineffective unilateral steps, which some parliaments in Europe has chosen. Unilateral recognition has no impact on the reality on the ground and only weakens Europe's role as an honest broker in the conflict. Rather than looking to downsize from bilateral to unilateral, we should take the opposite approach. What is needed today is a multilateral framework, one that includes all the relevant actors in the region. Europe is uniquely placed to build that regional framework. President Abbas, unfortunately, chose to escalate his rhetoric with unfounded claims of genocide and dangerous calls for martyrs on the Temple Mount. Only he knows what he hopes to achieve by inflaming the situation, but it won't be progress towards Palestinian statehood. The European Union can help provide President Abbas with the framework of support to take the steps that are truly needed. Today, I think we all understand that a way forward can be found only with the Arab world and the West together. The response to the enemies of peace in the Middle East is to get leaders talking, sitting together around the same table and talking, to show every Israeli, every Palestinian, every Arab in the region that there is an alternative. Usually we avoid getting the leaders into the room until everything is agreed upon. This is the diplomatic way. But now we should reverse that formula. The leaders should get in the room and work from scratch on building relations. We can start with Gaza. The donor conference in September can only achieve short-term results without Israel at the table and without a broader agenda. Right now, it primarily serves to clear the collective conscience rather than change the status quo. Instead, the donor conference must develop into a regional summit which will start the long journey toward peace. Everyone in this room understands the power of economics. And so alongside the political process, we should already start to build economic ties. And here I have a clear message for you to take back to your governments. If you bring the finance ministers of the Arab world to a meeting to discuss regional cooperation, I'll be there. We can sit together and start a process which begins both with an acceptance of Israel's place in the region and our shared responsibility to solve conflicts between us. Friends, an economically prosperous and politically stable Middle East is a European interest. It opens new markets for your businesses and places Europe at the heart of the world's economy. Economic cooperation, a serious multilateral political process and a clear moral stance against terror and the isolation of Israel offers a roadmap to change the status quo and break the cycle which is holding us all back. Thank you very much.